fellow travelers, and welcome to another episode of the Virgin Stars Podcast third season. How my loyal listeners, thank you for your continued support. It's an amazing episode because Naledi Murray boards a mothership to discuss Sweet Tooth on Netflix. Now come aboard as we go traversing the stars. Hi, Miss Murray. Thank you so much for coming to the Virgin Stars Podcast.
Happy to be here.
So my pleasure. Me and my wife are big fans of Sweet Tooth, so thank you so much for doing this for us.
Of course. Love to do interviews.
So I would start off with a question of inspiration. So what inspired your love for acting and who your earliest influences?
Ooh, well, I've got to say, I was like a big Disney watcher, and I really love seeing what Jenna Ortega does, Zendaya, of course. Just, yeah, I would always just watch them and think they're so cool. And I would say they're definitely my biggest influencers. And also, I would be like running sides with my dad. And that's really where my love for acting really started.
So, as someone who's such a young actor, where did
Mhm.
your experience come from? Because to go being Sweet Tooth, which is a huge show on Netflix, you definitely got to have some acting skills. So, how did you at this age already get that good at it?
Well, from the time I was 5, I was like, I want to do acting. A year later, I started acting, auditioning for stuff. Sweet Tooth is definitely my first big role, but I've had lots of minor roles where I was the daughter of the main character, the granddaughter. So I've been on Tommy, which was on CBS. I appeared in a TV show with Hugh Grant. That was great. So yeah, lots of minor roles, and then Sweet Tooth was my first big role, but I feel like almost like I've been acting my whole life, making up little stories in my head, pretending with your friends, always been reading, surrounded myself like just in that world.
So, if memory serves, you came on Sweet Tooth in the second season, which already was a hit show for that first season, and it's based on a hit comic book as well, Sweet Tooth by Jeff Lemire. So when you first got involved with Sweet Tooth, or you were told to audition for Sweet Tooth, what did you think about it? What did you know about the show already?
I did not like know about anything about Sweet Tooth really, but as soon as I heard that it was based on a graphic novel, I had to get that. Like I love reading so much. And so I was like, I need to read these books. And then I read over the sides and I really liked it. My character was really sassy and fun, just a little spunky. And so then I just sent in my audition, hope for the best. Yeah, honestly, I just thought it was awesome when I first got it.
So when you got the role and they're telling you about who Wendy is as a character, what did
Mhm.
they tell you about the character? What did they leave out about the character you found about later? And what did you make up on your own to make her seem real to you?
Well, when you first get an audition, there's like a little breakdown of the character, just so you get a little backstory. I thought she was really cool, like I saw her strength. And then after that, I would say each actor kind of makes up stuff in their own head. Like you really have to know your character. I would say like no one knows your character better than you. And I really just thought about what I would do in those situations if I was in her shoes. And then I would say it really happened from there. So I guess you could say I made up most of it.
Kind of like what did you add to like your kind of like your mental backstory of who she is that fans might be interested in knowing about?
Oh, wow. That's cool. Um, Let me think. So I really just saw her as someone strong. You mostly see her backstory on Sweet Tooth anyway. Like it was a little different in the self-tape. Like the when you audition, they don't really give you a lot of information, and you might be doing a scene that's not even going to be in a TV show. But I always like to think she was like a farmer or something. But in the TV show, we see that she was adopted at a young age and she really grows up with Amy. She has like no recollection of her life before the zoo. So I kind of had that all laid out for me in the script and I just went with it. And then you see it all in Sweet Tooth.
Now, I'm not sure this is a spoiler or not because it happened in season two, but it's revealed that Wendy is the sister of Becky. Now, when you first got the part, did they already reveal that to you, or did they hold that secret for later on?
I'm Yeah, I knew immediately. They actually, when I first auditioned, it was about how she was a little bit older, I'm pretty sure. Wendy was a little bit older, and she was with an adult, and one of her main goals was to get back to her foster sister, Becky. And so that they had that in the script. And then when I first got like the actual season 1 script, they had that because we see Becky's point of view also in season 2. So I already knew because I love reading the scripts that they send like immediately. And you don't just get your parts, you get like the whole season. So yeah, I knew that they were sisters.
So I think one of the cool things about Wendy is that over seasons 2 and 3, she grows up as a character. What impressed you most about the growth of Wendy as a character?
I would say I was so impressed by Wendy's strength. Like she was able to adapt to so many situations,
Hmm.
and she was really dependent on her mom. She was able to always look for her mom anywhere, and she would get the answers, and everything was told to her. Like she really just could rely on her mom for a lot of stuff.
Hmm.
But eventually she doesn't have her mom to rely on to. And she really came into her own, and she was really holding the fort for her siblings. She almost became their mother figure. She has all these big plans for all the hybrids. Like she's really grown up in the couple of seasons we've seen her. So
And
yeah.
also, you get to have some decent. She gets to kick butt a little bit in season 3.
Yeah.
What are those scenes like for you? How hard was it to practice those more physical scenes?
So I didn't really get a lot of rehearsal for the physical scenes. Um, so I just love any action. Like I do martial arts, like so kickboxing, boxing, jujitsu, swords, like Cali sticks, all of that stuff I love. And so when they were talking about action, I got super excited. We had a couple rehearsal days and we really got it down. And I just love action. And so like you're not really hitting the person. It's all like staged and it has to be very exact. So they made sure to show me exactly where to follow through. And that was really exciting. Yeah.
How nerve-wracking is it to? Because like I said, I know the idea is not to hit the person, but you come pretty close. Like it looks pretty close.
Yeah.
Like how nerve-wracking is it to have to try to pretend not to hit this person without accidentally doing it?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people I know like have trouble with that. But honestly, my dad is also a stuntman, so he had a lot of tips for me. And I feel like as soon as they call action, you just get into character. And I have really good imagination, so I just imagined that I was hitting a target, but it wasn't actually like other character. Um, and so I think it was pretty easy for me. I was really just in character, caught up in the scene. So I didn't really think about it. But yeah, I guess it would be pretty scary. I was just really excited because I didn't get to do a lot of action in season
Yeah.
2. And so season 3, I was like throwing a whole cocktail. It was on fire. I had to have like good aim. But yeah, that was
Now, if did I hear you correctly, you train in sword fighting? Is that what you said? You did?
Yeah, yeah, I
Oh my
do.
God.
Yeah, it's really fun. It's just like you do drills, and I usually just partner up with my dad and we just have fun. It's like you're in an action scene or something.
Are these blunted swords you're using, or are these
Oh yeah, of
the?
course. No, no, not real swords. Oh my imagine.
I was like, my God. So you said your father is a stunt person. So what is that like? What advice he was able to give you about being in Hollywood, and eventually I guess you're gonna be an action star with all the karate stuff you're doing. So what advice did he give you?
He's always been really influential in the things I do. Like he's basically like my personal acting coach. So yeah, he does lots of like little jobs everywhere. Like you probably will like pass him on the street and be like, that's kind of like a familiar face. And like we grow up together, but just like, no, you've probably seen his face like get crushed. You've probably seen him be jumping off buildings, getting shot in the head.
Is
Oh
that
no,
weird? Is that weird to see your father on movies getting beat up and shot and crushed, apparently?
yeah, it's pretty brutal. Um, Yeah, I think it's cool. Like it's so fun. Like, and I get to tell people like my dad's a stuntman. Like that's so fun. Yeah, it's really cool to see him like jump off bridges and all that stuff.
And as an action star in the future, you might be the one who gets to do it to your father, and be
Mhm.
like, and that'll be a big moment for you.
Yeah, that would be so cool. We're like kind of working on this film in development. It's called One Good Thing, and it's an action between a father and daughter, and like it's basically based on us.
Oh, very cool. That's awesome. So that's gonna be a TV or you said a film?
It will be like a feature film. You'll probably see it in a couple years.
Oh, very cool. That sounds awesome. So another cool thing about Wendy as a character is that she's like the leader of the other hybrid children. Before Gus, when they're in the zoo, just Amy, then kind of Wendy's sort of like in charge of all the kids. So what do you think makes Wendy such a good leader of the kids? What is it just that she's older, or is something else about her that makes her a good leader?
Well, there are a couple factors. One, a lot of the other hybrid children, they can't really talk. Their vocal cords aren't made the same way that ours are. So Wendy is the one that can speak the most. So the younger hybrids, the more animal they are. So they're a little bit more animal than human. So it's not that they're less smart, it's just they don't know how to articulate in the same way. And another thing is Wendy was the first hybrid at the preserve.
Yeah.
Um, and they're all like her little younger siblings. Like she has that older sister role, and she really has learned a lot from her mother, and so she's able to pass that down to them and really take charge. Pigs are very smart. She has her plans set. She's like, we're gonna get out of the zoo. So yeah, she really just takes charge, and she's gotten a lot of strength from her mother, I would say. And yeah, that's why she's the leader.
Now, also at season two, which I don't think this is a spoiler because it's at the end of season two. And anyone who watches season three already knows, Amy dies.
Yeah.
And Wendy is, she's older. She's kind of also, we'll say now, fully responsible for the kids. How hard was the scene to act, the last scene between Wendy and Amy?
Oh, honestly, that scene was so soul crushing. Like everyone on set just felt it. Um, there are lots of scenes, like all the dying scenes. It really felt like I was saying goodbye not only to the character, but also the actress Danya, because I was mostly acting with her in most of season one. And then season two, it really felt like, oh, it hit me like these are like our final scenes together.
Mhm.
So sometimes final scenes are shot before, but it actually worked out that the final scenes were basically like the final scenes that we shot together. Um, but yeah, it was really surreal. It was hard to do those scenes, definitely, but we always worked together so well. And at the end, I would say I was very proud of it. And it was definitely a closure for everybody having that last goodbye.
Was there anything you that you wish was added to that scene? Like, do you wish you had more time with the woman who plays Amy, the actress?
Honestly, I think that the way they did it, it was perfect. I mean, it would have been nice if Amy could just like rise from the dead, like come back for a spin-off or something. But yeah, no, I think it was done really well.
Now, a cool thing too about season three is that so much of season three is like you guys just traveling places. Now, was that on a set or was that on location?
See, the funny thing is, it was a mixture of both because the show was shot in New Zealand and it was actually summer during that time. So, a lot of the scenes that you see were shot in the studio because they had to add fake snow everywhere and make it look cold. But yeah, there are a couple off-site locations that we filmed at. Like there was like this big auditorium that changed into the casino. And then we went to the South Island a little bit for the hotel and all like the beautiful landscapes. It was shot in the South Island, or actually, um, they got videos in the South Island and then put it on the background like CGI. And yeah, so I'd say yeah, it was a mixture.
I would say it was done so well because as a viewer, I couldn't tell which parts were on set and which parts were on location. That's amazing.
Yeah. The Yeah, they did it really well because there are people there that make the scenes and they are completely like wetting the place down, adding the fake snow. Yeah, they're really great.
Was there a favorite location that you had that you got to film on?
Hmm. I would say it was the hotel with the big potato in Idaho because there are these bean bags, right? And they were so comfortable there. And it was fun because we were in the South Island for about like 2 weeks to film the shots that we had with like the big mountains in the back and everything. And I really like that because it was mostly shot in the North Island.
Now, I'm gonna get all these names wrong, but I'm gonna ask anyway. So you get to have you have basically had two seasons with some great actors, Nanzo Anozie, Christian Convery, Stephanie Owen. What were they like to work with? What was it like on set?
Honestly, it was great on set. Like maybe we had a little bit of too much fun because like sometimes we wouldn't be able to get to like through a scene because we were just so caught up laughing. Um, Yeah, I would say also a lot of people were a little bit slap happy because there were a couple late night shoots. And then like the next day would be kind of like early morning shoot. So everyone was just like really slap happy, cracking jokes. Like everyone's just a real big family. They're great. Yeah, I would say it was awesome working with them, just seeing their immense talent and just I learned a lot.
So Christian plays Gus, who's the main kid, the sweet tooth character. What was it like with him specifically? Was it weird to have like two main stars being kids, and then you have like the two others are like way older? Was it, like did you guys like hang around each other more often because you were one of the only kids on set?
Honestly, no, I wouldn't say it was weird at all that we were the only two kids. You kind of get used to that being a child actress, or just child actor in general. You're a lot of the time you're gonna be the only kid on set, but everyone's sort of colleagues there. It's not like it's almost like its own little world. It's not the same thing. But yeah, we all got along well, but of course, yeah, Christian is my friend, and we definitely spent a lot of time together. But yeah, I
So
wouldn't say it was weird.
so without giving away too many spoilers, I'm trying to think of the best way to phrase the question without giving away the spoiler. Obviously, the third season it ends the series. Everything everyone knows that who just knows it exists. The third season is the last season.
Mhm.
How did you feel with how they wrapped up the season? How they wrapped up your character, especially in relation to Gus, and how much of that were you told that this was going to be how it was going to be wrapped up?
So I really love the ending. I think it really just like stayed true to the books. And when I first read the ending, like we got the scripts, I read it all the way through one sitting, about like took me about 45 minutes. I don't know. And I just loved it. It was really like the books. And, Wendy and Gus have this little family and they have this whole community. They really achieved Wendy's dreams. Like she was kind of like a little architect, and I love how it turned out.
Now, being a fan of the books, you read Sweet Tooth, and Sweet Tooth had a sequel. I think a couple of years ago, Sweet Tooth. I don't know. I think they call it Sweet Tooth 2. I think that's all they call it, or it was some other name for it. Did you read those issues? And does that mean we could be looking at a sequel to Sweet Tooth, the show? You think?
Unfortunately not. I really think that that was the last season, third and final season. Um, yeah, it definitely, I felt like it gave the audience and the fans the finale that they hoped for. But yeah, I definitely did read the sequel. It was like little, almost like these little like magazine versions, and like I found them along with all the other comic books.
So Sweet Tooth, once again, is a big hit. Was hugely popular. What has it been like to have the fan base? What is now that you also have blown up now in popularity because of the show? What has that experience been like for you?
Um, I would say it's great seeing how everyone loved the show, just as much as everyone who put the work into making it did. Um, there's lots of love from the fans and just like seeing them commenting on the stuff, especially like when they get to see behind the scenes, because it's pretty fun to see that. There's lots of love from Brazil, especially, um, across the country, just lots of people. And I would say I really enjoyed it. It hasn't really affected like my life in person that much because I have like a pig nose on. You don't really recognize me. But yeah, I would say it's really just been great to see all the love.
So are you gonna eventually do the convention circuit and do all the autographs and do all that fun stuff?
See, that would be really great, but honestly, I have no idea.
So what can you share about what's other than the film you mentioned with you and your father? What can you share about what's next for you?
Well, this summer I should be shooting a feature film. I can't say much about it yet.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, you might see. This is definitely not the last you're gonna see of me, like
So are you
here.
able to drop some hints about the film that you're going to be in? Is it something that is already we've already heard of, or that had maybe has been talked about, like you can discuss?
Mm, honestly, I don't think so. They haven't really said a lot about it yet.
All right, well, when it's ready to talk about it, you come back on the show, okay? And to talk about that film with you and your father.
Of course.
All right. Thank you so much, Ms. Murray. It was an absolute honor to speak with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. This is great.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Versus Stars podcast. Please help me battle the algorithms by liking and subscribing. Be sure to turn to the next episode when Justin Koch boards the mothership to discuss SWAT Eldritch Blue, now on Kickstarter. Until next voyage, travel on.